Are you into whiskey? Do you know Johnnie Walker, Jack Daniels, Jim Beam? How about Jameson? If yes, what brand or brands do you think didn't match its name to its founder? Reserve your answer because in this video, we're gonna find that out. In Today I Learned, we'll talk about the surprising facts about whiskey brands you didn't know that will make you say, what? Hey y'all, welcome to Advanced Mixology. Let's get started. Surprising facts you didn't know about Jack Daniels. Number 1. Jack Daniels is the oldest distillery in the USA. When Jack Daniel was still in his teens, he registered his company in 1866. Number 2. Nobody knows what the number 7 on the label represents. There are several theories as to why Jack chose the number 7. First, it is said to be the number of mistresses he had throughout his life. Apparently, he was quite the ladies' man, but in the end, he never married. Second, it was the 7th recipe he came up with that was deemed perfect for the launch of his whiskey. Third is that the way he wrote the letter J was reminiscent of the number 7. And fourth is that it was simply chosen because in any case, Jack was really fortunate. Number 3. Don't call it bourbon. Jack Daniels is a whiskey, not a bourbon. In reality, the federal government bestowed the label Tennessee Whiskey on it in 1941, some 80 years after Jack founded his company. The Lincoln County process, which entails sifting the spirit through a 10-foot thick layer of maple charcoal before aging, distinguishes it from bourbon. Number 4, it was Frank Sinatra's favorite drink. Let us now discuss another legend, Frank Sinatra. Old Blue Eyes was a big lover of the legendary Jack Daniels Old Number 7, and it wasn't unusual to see him sipping a tumbler while on stage. Sinatra drank his whiskey with 3 ice cubes, 2 fingers of Jack, and a dash of water. He covered the glass in a handkerchief, preferably linen, and held it in his right hand. As if that weren't enough, he requested to be buried with a bottle of his favorite spirit, as well as a packet of cigarettes and a lighter. Number 5. You can't drink Jack Daniels if you're in Lynchburg. The Jack Daniels distillery is located in Lynchburg, Tennessee, as many people are aware. Unfortunately, it is located in Moore Country where prohibition is still in effect. In fact, it is known to be a dry county. Number 6. Jack Daniel wasn't called Jack. This is possibly the most perplexing fact. The distillery's founder was named Jasper Newton Daniel. Jack was simply his alias. Number 7. The tragic comic death of Jack Daniel. Jack Daniel died in an unusual manner in 1911. He couldn't recall the key to a safe, so he kicked it in a fit of rage. Unfortunately, he hurt his foot and developed an infection, which necessitated the amputation of the limb, which grew gangrenous and ultimately resulted in Jack's death. Number 8. It is the world's best-selling American whiskey. Jack Daniels is the world's best-selling American whiskey, producing over 90 million gallons each year. It's also available at practically any place as it's offered in over 150 countries. Number 9. A rock music and film icon. Jack Daniels was a favorite of many artists, including Frank Sinatra. You won't have to search on the internet to find images of legendary rock performers carrying distinctive square bottles, not to mention in the movies. Guns N' Roses, Jimmy Page, Jim Morrison, Van Halen, Led Zeppelin, Motorhead, Metallica, Rolling Stones, and Blink-182. Throughout its long history, Jack Daniels has frequently appeared in many films. In the remake of A Scent of a Woman with Al Pacino, The Shining with John Nicholson, Animal House with John Belushi, Mystic River with Sean Penn, Jerry Maguire with Tom Cruise, and in Blonde Adam with Charlize Theron. And number 10, the distillery has had only 7 master distillers. Since 1866, the Jack Daniels distillery has only had 7 master distillers, who oversee the whole whiskey production process. The first was Jack Daniel himself until 1911, and the last has been Jeff Arnett since 2008. Surprising facts you didn't know about Johnnie Walker. Number 1, Johnnie Walker is indeed named after a dude. It's possible that the fact that many previous companies had names or actual names behind them is no longer fascinating. But again, we live in the Pepsi and Twitter era, and as far as we can tell, there's no such thing as a John, Charles, or Veronica Twitter. So the fact that Johnnie Walker existed is still quite cool. Number 2, Walker was a young farmer. He grew up in the town of Tudricks. He had to sell the property after his father died in order to build his first grocery store in Kilmarnock. This place might not have been as well known if John Walker hadn't opened his shop. Number 3. Walker started a John Walker's Grocery. Most whiskeys were sold in normal grocers at the time, which meant you could buy bread and hard liquor on the same trip. Johnnie Walker was no exception, having begun at the family grocery business in Kilmarnock, Scotland, not far from the country's western shore. Number 4. It began as a reaction to single malt. Single malt is highly prized today for a good reason, but the consistency was a more difficult issue in the 19th century. John Walker wanted consistent scotch, so he blended his shop brand. As a refresher, single malts are the result of a single distillery, whereas blends are mixtures from multiple distilleries. Number 5. The overall flavor profile is intriguingly contradictory. Without a doubt, Johnnie Walker is a pleasant whiskey, but that doesn't mean it's devoid of staggeringly awesome, annoying, sit down for a long thoughtful sip complexity. The 12-year, for example, has a dark chewy toffee and spice on the scent, but lighter burst of citrus, a garden patch, and delicate grain once you've sipped it. Number 6. The original bottles didn't say Johnnie Walker or show someone strutting. Older Johnnie Walker bottles, full or empty, are for sale, as are many other antique whiskey products. One seller promotes a bottle with the words John Walker and Sons carved on it, as well as some legal jargon about how federal law bans the sale or resale of this bottle, which apparently no longer applies. Number 7. The label is slanted on purpose. Following his father John's death, Alexander Walker took over operations, and one of the many things he tried to help the family's scotch stand out from the swelling whiskey crowd was to slant the label precisely 24 degrees. Number 8. The color identification didn't come until much later. We've all had a glass of Johnnie Walker Red. In any case, the bottles weren't labeled by color until Alexander Walker handed the firm on to his sons, who began designating the various blends in this manner. Johnnie Walker Blue is still the stuff you have to keep hidden from anyone who isn't deserving, but there are now gold and platinum labels as well. Number 9. Johnnie Walker Red was initially meant to mix. It's not as if you can't drink it straight. However, Johnnie Walker Red was designed to be better suitable for blending with soda than heavier scotches. And sure, the Scots did combine some of their whiskeys with soda. Number 10. There is a $22,000 bottle of Johnnie Walker. It's actually $22,577.44. If you can't come up with 44 cents, we're wondering if they'll give you a break. It is a combination of 45 to 70-year-old whiskeys, a celebration of the company's past, and is usually not for sale. Surprising facts you didn't know about Jim Beam. Number 1. The brand has used the same ingredients for hundreds of years. For almost 220 years, Jim Beam has employed the same proportion of corn, rye, and barley in its mash bill. Along with the stability of the mash bill, the distillery has utilized the same yeast colony for 75 years. Number 2. The business is actually owned by a Japanese company. Suntory Holdings, the corporation behind Japan's first whiskey, purchased the company in 2014. The amount was for $13.62 billion. The deal also included a few Scotch firms and Maker's Mark. The company is now known as Beam Suntory. Number 3. There are 2 places to get to know Jim Beam in person. Tours are available at the distillery in Claremont, Kentucky, as well as at the Whiskey Experiences in Louisville, where visitors may learn about the history of bourbon and have bourbon drinks produced tableside. Number 4. It used to go by a different name. The distillery was founded in 1795 by Jacob Beam under the name Old Tub Bourbon, and it was run by the Beam family until Prohibition. After Prohibition ended in 1934, Beam wasn't sure who owned the rights to Old Tub, so he renamed it Jim Beam Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey and used the same recipe. Number 5. You can thank Jim Beam for cask-released small batch bourbons. Jim Beam's grandson, Booker Noe, released Booker's in 1987. It was straight from the barrel, uncut with water. Demand skyrocketed, and other distilleries quickly followed suit with their own tiny batches. Surprising facts you didn't know about Jameson. Number 1. Jameson was actually a Scottish creation. Don't bring it up with a native. British rivalries are intense. Jameson Irish Whiskey was founded by a Scottish barrister named John Jameson, who married into an Irish family that owned a Dublin distillery. Number 2. It is now owned by a French company. This whiskey is experiencing a cultural identity crisis. Pernod Ricard, the same firm that owns Absolut and Chivas Regal, purchased the brand in 1988. However, Jameson is still manufactured in Cork, Ireland. Number 3. The Jameson motto, Sine Me Tu, and the coat of arms was a national honor. In the 1500s, the Jamesons were a violent band that drove pirates away from settlements along Scotland's coast. To honor them, they were given a special coat of arms bearing the text Sine Me Tu, which translates to without fear. It is available on all Jameson labels. Number 4. Only 10% of Jameson stays in Ireland. Following Pernod Ricard's acquisition of Jameson, the company actively began marketing its trademark whiskey internationally, significantly raising its international prominence. 90% of the millions of cases of Jameson produced are shipped to greener pastures and international bars. Number 5. Jameson was the only producer of whiskey in Ireland in the 70s. The Irish economy experienced a significant hit in the 1970s when prohibition was implemented in the United States, resulting in a drop in liquor firm sales. The main 4 whiskey brands joined in self-defense and Jameson emerged victoriously. Other surprising facts about your favorite whiskey brands. The Glenfiddich bottle is triangular in shape to represent the 3 pillars of whiskey making: air, water, and barley. Japanese whiskey makers rarely trade casks with one another due to how competitive the market is. Frank Sinatra was buried with a bottle of Jack Daniels. The famous red wax sealed Maker's Mark bottle was designed by the distillery's owner's wife, Margie Samuels. Samuels wanted something that would stand out in the liquor store and reassure drinkers that this bourbon was quality made. She also came up with the name, which comes from the mark of the maker, a signature that indicates a product is handmade. The record for the most expensive whiskey cocktail sold is a refresh of the traditional Manhattan made with a 55-year-old Macallan served at Dubai's Skyview bar, costing £4,632. The posh concoction was steered with a very special oak stick from a cask of Macallan. It was also served with ice made from the single water used to produce the single malt whiskey it contains. The world's largest collection of Scotch whiskey is known as the Perfect Collection, with a staggering 3,384 bottles. The record for the smallest bottle goes to Whitehorse, who produced a bottle containing just 1.3 milliliters of whiskey. The record for the largest bottle of whiskey goes to the distillers of Famous Grouse, who created a 1.7 meter bottle containing 228 liters of whiskey. Kikori is a Japanese whiskey made from 100% rice. The Guinness World Record for the oldest bottle of whiskey in the world belongs to the Glenavon Special Liquor Whiskey, bottled between 1851 and 1858. It sold at auction for an astounding £14,850. Jack Daniel's barrels are used to age the pepper mash that is used to make Tabasco sauce. World Whiskey Day is celebrated on May 16 in around 47 countries around the world. These whiskey brands might have enormous differences from one another in terms of appearance, price, taste, and their stories and history. But always remember, they have one thing in common, and that is ensuring the satisfaction of each of their patrons. And that is one big fact. So, what do you think of these surprising facts about your favorite whiskey brands? Did we miss something you know? Well, let us know in the comment section down below. And how about clicking our featured video for you to know more about the differences of whiskey, scotch, and bourbon, so you will know which type of alcohol to drink. Also, check out more of our featured content by visiting our channel. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Advanced Mixology. See ya!